Good morning, evening, or night, wherever you are. Welcome to WHAM today. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's drift through the whispers of today's world, one quiet thought at a time. As we wrap up Tuesday, 3rd June 2025, let's see what stories are unfolding around us. China is navigating heightened trade friction with the US, even after a 90-day tariff pause established in Geneva during May. These tensions intensified following U.S. President Donald Trump's claims of a breached trade truce, which China denied, accusing the U.S. of imposing restrictive measures. A possible discussion between Presidents Trump and Xi Jinping could address these issues, leading to a slight increase in China stocks. China's factory activity contracted unexpectedly in May, showing the worst decline since 2022, reflecting the economic impact of tariffs and deflationary pressures. China's electric vehicle EV manufacturers, including market leader Boeing, are engaged in a severe price war due to cooling sales and shrinking margins, prompting warnings from Beijing. However, Boeing expects Chinese airlines to resume orders halted during the trade war, although supply chain issues and tariff uncertainty could hinder deliveries. China is utilizing its rare earths trade leverage in its dispute with the U.S. simultaneously. Huawei Technologies is set to introduce its premium Pura 80 smartphone series, featuring enhanced camera, sensor, and lens technologies. NVIDIA, to adhere to U.S. export rules, is creating a new China-specific AI chip, the B30, enabling users to build high-performance computing clusters. China's fresh drink firms are attracting significant investor interest, although S&P Global Ratings warns of potential overcompetition and excessive spending. China and Hong Kong shares have risen, propelled by rallies in banks and car makers, anticipating trade negotiations. Hong Kong demonstrates China's strategy of decoupling from U.S. financial markets. Pop Mart, famed for the Labu collectible character, has attracted interest from prominent figures, including David Beckham's family. India's stock market faced a setback as the Sensex dropped 636 points to close at 80,737.51. while the Nifty 50 fell 174 points to settle at 24,542.5, influenced by high valuations, foreign capital outflow, erratic trade policy, and underwhelming KER results. Kotak Institutional Equities projects further market consolidation due to persistent high valuations and weak domestic consumption, even with retail investor support. The NSE Defense Index has surged by 20% in a month, reflecting India's strategic focus on increased defense spending. Though valuation concerns remain a point of discussion, the Indian cement industry is forecasted by Systematics Research to grow by 6 to 7.5% in FY26. Shares of Servotec Renewable Power System experienced a 19% increase after Elon Musk's visit to India, where he is expected to support the company's solar and EV projects and seek strategic partnerships. Blue Cloud Softtech Solutions stock hit a 2% upper circuit at Yoda 23.04 on June 3rd, following a fundraising announcement designed to boost capital for expansion, with Q4 profits showing a 51.98% year-on-year increase. MEF has once again become India's highest-priced stock, moving ahead of LSID investments. The financial and its sectors are currently exerting downward pressure on Indian shares, and Adani stocks have declined due to reports of a U.S. probe. Private banks characterized by low non-performing assets, NPS, are considered more stable and potentially more reliable investments. Utah's economic prospects are viewed as closely linked to investments in India. The India Diesel Genset Rental Market Report 2025 2031 provides a competitive analysis of key companies, including Cummins, Caterpillar, Kohler, Atlas Copco, Agrico, Generac, Wärtsilä, and Dingo. Australia's financial markets presented a complex picture, with a government bond auction revealing the lowest demand in 6 years, coinciding with a surge in domestic corporate bond offerings. Simultaneously, the Australian main index reached record highs, boosted by bank stocks and fueled by Reserve Bank of Australia, RBA, minutes suggesting potential interest rate cuts. Turning to the European Union, preparations are underway for potential trade countermeasures against the United States. These actions are being considered should a trade agreement not materialize following the imposition of U.S. tariffs on steel. In Hong Kong, businesses are pivoting toward expansion in mainland China and Southeast Asia. An HSBC survey indicates the strategic redirection is prompted by substantial tariffs and trade obstacles in the United States and Europe. As a Greenpack, for example, is planning expansion into Taiwan and Singapore. Across the Atlantic, in the United Kingdom, US private equity firm Kia has abandoned its bid to acquire Thames Water. The British utility company is currently grappling with substantial debt. Finally, in the United States, the OECD forecasts a significant deceleration in economic growth, projecting a rate of 1.6% for the current year, down from 2.8% the year before. This downturn is attributed to the adverse effects of trade policies, particularly tariffs, which have disrupted international trade and driven up costs. The European Union is preparing countermeasures against the United States in case a trade deal is not reached following U.S. tariffs on steel. Japan is being encouraged by President Trump to invest in Alaska land with potential tariff implications. Simultaneously, Japan is working to bolster its financial standing by promoting domestic ownership of Japanese government bonds, JGBs. A recent 10-year bond sale saw strong demand, offering some stability amid upcoming, longer-dated debt auctions. Recruit's CEO has returned to lead Indeed after 6 years. Analysts are predicting the Nikkei stock market could rise approximately 5% by year's end, despite potential tariff-related headwinds. Sumi Trust's Sakigake Fund is showcasing Japan's evolving economic structure to European investors. Russia saw India's imports of its oil surge to a 10-month peak in May. The Russian central bank, as projected by a Reuters survey, is likely to maintain its key interest rate at 21%. Sberbank, Russia's largest financial institution, boasting $606 billion in assets, has introduced Bitcoin-related structured bonds and intends to roll out Bitcoin derivatives, marking a notable foray into the cryptocurrency domain. Furthermore, Russia is exploring the possibility of utilizing cryptocurrency to receive payments for its agricultural export. In a separate incident, a veteran who spearheaded airstrikes on a Ukrainian port city was killed in an explosion within Russia. The nation also reported a significant power outage affecting Ukrainian territories under its occupation. Despite agreeing to another exchange of prisoners, Russia and Ukraine did not achieve a consensus on a ceasefire agreement. South Korea is in the midst of significant political and economic change as they await the results of their recent presidential elections. The new president will be responsible for uniting the nation and fostering economic growth. Opposition party Chief Lee Jae-myung is a frontrunner, with a Gallup poll showing 49% support. The election's outcome is expected to influence the global cryptocurrency market. Adding to the nation's tech prominence, OpenAI is planning to establish a new office in Seoul. Saudi Arabia is currently reshaping its financial landscape, presenting both new opportunities and inherent challenges. A digital bank in Saudi Arabia, supported by the Public Investment Fund, PF, is actively seeking investors to secure additional funding. Simultaneously, Hong Kong and Saudi Arabia are engaging in collaborative efforts to develop innovative cross-border financial products. The recent launch of a Saudi ETF in Hong Kong provides new avenues for Islamic finance. Regulatory shifts include the upcoming expiration of a tax fine waiver later this month. In the realm of financial technology, WHAM has partnered with BML to introduce Saudi Arabia's inaugural institutional cloud analytics platform. Investment activities include the launch of a $453 real estate fund by Nayef Al-Raji Investment and Al Jazeera Capital. United Kingdom's economic outlook remains cautiously optimistic, according to the OECD, which forecasts continued modest growth alongside ongoing challenges for public finances. Expanding its global footprint, Robinhood plans to utilize its recent acquisition of Bitstamp to penetrate markets across Europe, the UK, and Asia, initially preserving Bitstamp's current infrastructure for intelligent order routing. Turning to Eastern Europe, Ukraine and Russia have concluded negotiations in Istanbul, reaching an accord regarding a new prisoner of war paper exchange. Despite this progress, significant disagreements persist between the two nations concerning the conditions for a comprehensive ceasefire. In a separate development, Ukraine's successful drone strike targeting Russian warplanes marks a considerable blow to Russia's strategic military assets. Asian markets displayed a mixed bag of performance, swayed by Wall Street's tech rally and shifting views on trade. Mirroring the U.S. stock indexes nearing record highs, most markets lean towards gains, fueled by hopes of relaxed trade tensions. However, analyst and investor confidence in Asian paints has waned, with fewer brokers holding a positive view of the stock. European markets navigated a volatile period, reacting to economic releases and global trade tensions. The markets initially anticipated a positive start, awaiting key inflation figures. However, broader economic uncertainties and trade concerns soon dampened the growth outlook, causing shares to stumble. Renewed tariff threats from former President Trump further amplified these concerns. The Eurozone's inflation drop provided some relief, though insufficient to offset the overall market easing. Tesla's stock also declined, reflecting weakening sales in critical European markets, exacerbating the existing economic challenges. Switzerland is implementing stricter capital regulations for UBS. Simultaneously, Microsoft is investing $400 million to grow its AI and cloud infrastructure there. This investment seeks to strengthen Switzerland's tech sector. The Kone GDP growth in Switzerland surpassed early estimates, signaling a healthy economic outlook. South Africa faces potential setbacks in its HIV/AIDS programs due to aid cuts. Despite this challenge, the South African economy experienced an unexpected expansion, driven by growth in the farming and transport sectors. The country's stock market is currently thriving amidst global trade uncertainties. However, attracting further investment requires revisions to South Africa's draft 2025 Mineral Bill, according to a recent column. Shifting focus to Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is under pressure to address rising inflation rates. The Bank of Canada is expected to announce further measures to curb spending. Public support for the Liberal Party has slightly decreased in recent polls. The government is also working on new environmental regulations to meet climate change targets. Meanwhile, in France, President Emmanuel Macron is dealing with ongoing protests related to pension reforms. The French economy is showing signs of stagnation. France is also playing a key role in mediating international conflicts. New legislation addressing immigration policies is currently being debated in the National Assembly. In the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is navigating challenges related to Brexit trade agreements. The UK's healthcare system is facing increasing strain. The government is implementing new strategies to boost economic growth in northern regions. Recent data indicates a slight decrease in unemployment rates. Poland is facing political turbulence, as Prime Minister Donald Tusk has requested a confidence vote to solidify his pro-EU government, a move prompted by challenges from Eurosceptic factions. This situation is further complicated by the election of a Trump-backed nationalist to the Polish presidency, a development that could significantly obstruct Tusk's policy objectives. Romania can anticipate some economic relief from the European Union as it endeavors to manage its existing deficit. Further, the Romanian broker Investimental has enhanced its offerings by providing Romanian traders with expanded access to EU stock markets via the DXTrade platform. Germany is seeing Amazon under scrutiny by regulators due to alleged price caps that may be limiting the visibility of merchants' products and hindering their pricing autonomy. Separately, a German regulatory body has stated that there was no evidence of wrongdoing regarding companies' communications with analysts before releasing results. The Netherlands government has collapsed following the withdrawal of the far-right Party for Freedom from the ruling coalition, a consequence of disagreements over the country's immigration policy. The Party for Freedom had previously achieved a significant victory in the Netherlands' 2023 general election. Taiwan has reported multiple incursions by the Chinese military, including People's Liberation Army, Palais aircraft naval vessels, operating near its territorial waters, with one such aircraft entering its air defense identification zone, EDITS. Despite initial gains, Taiwan's stock market closed higher, but with some losses due to ongoing tariff concerns. Canada's premiers are actively promoting the development of new pipelines, ports, and mines, presenting their proposals to Carney. Meanwhile, the S&P TSX Composite Index concluded trading with an increase of 0.82%. Norway witnessed a dramatic increase in Tesla's new car sales, surging by 213% year-over-year in May, a stark contrast to the broader decline observed in the European automotive market. In other news, Norway's sovereign wealth fund is adjusting its investment strategy and intends to reduce its large-scale investments starting in 2025. The United States' decision to permit its rare earth metals industry to relocate to China is raising concerns about potential economic vulnerabilities, particularly if China were to restrict the supply of these essential materials. Syria is the beneficiary of a joint support package from Qatar and Saudi Arabia, providing aid for 3 months, which follows the first visit from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in 18 years. Switzerland is solidifying its position as a hub for technological innovation, with Microsoft committing $400 million to investments in artificial intelligence, cloud computing infrastructure, and skills development initiatives. Indonesia is set to welcome expansion by Hong Kong-based Ozil, which is planning to enter the Indonesian market through the acquisition of a crypto exchange for a sum of $15 million. Mexico's political landscape is shifting as the ruling Morena party is projected to secure control of the Supreme Court based on initial vote tally. Pakistan is facing concerns that Trump's cryptocurrency policies could inadvertently facilitate terror financing within its borders. Turkey is seeing heightened speculation about the potential for Aselsan to emerge as the country's most valuable company. And that's a wrap for today's news, because even headlines need a nap. Stay curious, stay kind, and let the noise fade as you find your quiet. Take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time on WHAM Today.